Hello people of the world watching BMW repair videos on the internet. This is the BMW Repair Project. This is my BMW E90, and that is the N52. I'll be showing you everything from repairs to modifications, customization, anything from engine to transmission to exhaust and suspension. Every repair and modification will be documented so you can follow along my footsteps and you can watch me transform this car. Everything from bodywork to suspension and engine repairs that this car needs going forward. Today's topic, though, will be about a very common issue on these cars: misfiring. I don't have this issue currently, but I had it before, and I know how to fix them. So this will be an easy, step-by-step guide on how to diagnose a misfire on this engine. First, I want to nerd out on the tech specs just a little bit. This is the 3-liter N52. It is a magnesium composite engine with a 10.7:1 compression ratio, and it's undersquared at an 85 by 88 millimeter bore and stroke. There are two versions of this engine, one for 2006 and one for the rest of them. The 2006 325i and 330i use a version of this engine with a magnesium valve cover. And the one for 2007 to 2011 is for 328i only, and it has a plastic valve cover. This version makes 230 horsepower. I also just noticed some paint coming off of my fender. That will be in another video. Now let's get into diagnosing a misfire. Firstly, there are a few things that causes a misfire on this engine, and there are two primary ones. That will be spark plugs and ignition coils. Primarily ignition coils. It is a very well-known and well-documented problem that these cars go through ignition coils very frequently. Worn-out spark plugs will also cause a misfire. The symptoms of a misfire in a BMW are quite different than symptoms of a misfire in other cars. BMWs are very sensitive and will do anything they can to protect themselves when it detects a problem. When a BMW detects a misfire on a certain cylinder, it will automatically shut off the injector to that cylinder, so the engine will start shaking quite a lot, but is doing it to protect itself, and it will throw a service engine soon light on the dashboard. First, let's get into the ignition coils. Now, if you have a 2006 325i or 330i, it's very simple to get to the ignition coils. All you have to do is pull up on this engine cover. It is held in by a couple of rubber grommets, and you just pull straight up. On this car, with the black engine cover, there are 4 screws, 2 in the front and 2 in the back. They are 5mm Allen screws. I only have 2 of them in place, so I'm going to remove those 2 and take off the engine cover. And if you have a 2006 model, you will have the silver engine cover. When you pull it off, you'll notice that the valve cover is made of magnesium. This one, with the black engine cover, has a plastic valve cover. So, in every BMW, you have an OBD2 port. It sits in between the trunk release and the hood release, and it says OBD. All E90s have it right here. And there's your OBD port. What you would do is take your car to an AutoZone or O'Reilly's, borrow their scanner for free, and plug it into this port. They will scan your check engine light and tell you what the code is. You'll be looking for a code, P030, and at the end of the code, a number, 1 through 6. and will tell you which cylinder is misfiring. For example, you have P030X. That would tell you that cylinder 3 is misfiring. And the easiest way to diagnose this is to go under the hood and go to your ignition coils. As you can see, none of them are held in by bolts, so that makes diagnosing this problem very easy. So as you saw a moment ago, this little handle was popped up. On BMWs, these ignition coils are not held in by any bolts. Instead, they have these caps. You flip them up, and when you lift them all the way, there's some resistance, but the electrical connector comes off. I can do it to this one too. And it pops the electrical connector loose. There's an easy way to test your ignition coils and see if they're good. Let's say I had cylinder 2 misfiring, and I wanted to test its coil. Well, it's very simple. I disconnect the electrical connector. Sometimes you can use a screwdriver if the connector doesn't want to come out, just like that. And it just comes out very easily. And you go to another ignition coil. It could be the neighboring one, or it could be one in the back somewhere. We just give it a little pry. And now these are ready to remove. These caps that I showed you a minute ago, you use these as handles. You either put your finger in it and grab the other side and twist, and it comes right out like this, usually taking the spark plug tube with it. That's okay if that just happens. You just take the spark plug tube out and put it back in its place. That almost always happens. Or you can grab a screwdriver, thread it through the hole, grab it from the other side, and lift up. Now you have your coils out. Now the next thing you want to do, these coils, if you notice, they're not numbered. Now these are Bosch coils, genuine Bosch coils. No ignition coil for any car is numbered. So let's say I had a problem on this coil that I pulled from cylinder 2. To test the coil, I'm just going to put the one from cylinder 2 in cylinder 1, and the one from cylinder 1 to cylinder 2. Then I'll just put the connectors back. I just push on it, and it lowers the cap and put it in place. I'll show you up close. So here's the connector I'm talking about. It's a little pigtail. Goes in one way, push in, and as it slides up, this cap is coming down. So you push up and click it in place. Now let's say you did this, and you start the car, and it's still misfiring. You scan the code again, and now it says P030X instead of P030X. Now you know that the ignition coil that was once on cylinder 2 and is now on cylinder 1 is dead. So you can buy an ignition coil now for cylinder 1, simply replace it, and be back on the road. But let's say you did that and it stayed on cylinder 2. In that case, you may have an issue with your spark plug. Like I said earlier, BMWs are quite sensitive when it comes to misfires. So I'll show you the spark plug. At least from the top, because I don't want to pull it out. There's a spark plug down there. That's what the end of a spark plug looks like. Now on the other side, and I'll put a picture on the screen because I'm not removing this one. I'll put a picture on the screen. There is a gap at the top of the spark plug. As the spark plug wears, that gap gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Well, that can cause an issue where the spark plug doesn't work correctly and causes a misfire. If that is the case, you replace the spark plug and move on. Now let's just say you replaced your spark plugs and that didn't fix it. Then you'll be looking over here at your fuel injectors. Now very rarely on the N52 do these fuel injectors fail, but it can still happen. In that case, you can take the fuel injector from, again, let's say the misfire was on cylinder 2, and you could swap it with cylinder 1. And if the misfire moves from 2 to 1, if it actually moves, you'll know that you just have to replace that one fuel injector. Now, if it's not either of those three things, you will have a deeper problem on your hands, and that could be related to the intake manifold. As you can see, there are 6 runners, and there are also 6 gaskets. These intake manifold gaskets don't last forever. Now, if the intake manifold has been removed and put back on the car without new gaskets, the car can misfire after. So that is how you diagnose a misfire on one of these cars. I'll put a link in the description down below to FCP Euro. They are the best part supplier of your European car parts, including BMW. They have genuine parts, OEM parts. They have a lifetime warranty. So if, let's say, you replace all your coils and they all go bad, they'll continue to replace them forever for free. They also sell aftermarket parts, and they sell parts for everything from rod bearings to coolant expansion tanks to valve covers, oil filter housing gaskets, intake manifold gaskets, starters, Vanos gears, Vanos bolts, everything. So I'll put a link in the description down below where you can shop at FCP Euro and get all of your parts that you need. So that will be all for this video. I'll be leaving the email for this YouTube channel and the Instagram in the description so you can follow me and ask any BMW related questions. With that being said, stay tuned for the next video, and I will be trying to keep up a weekly upload basis. At a minimum, I will have one short per week talking about various things, in this case, on the BMW E90. So please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.